All right. It's been a few days coming back to chapter one of Tao Te Ching. So, the Tao that can't be told is not the eternal Tao. I think for me, what that really speaks to is just how we don't know as humans living in this life that we're living in together. How much do we really, how much can we really be certain of? And it seems like at least what my interpretation of everything is that the most that I can be certain of is this moment and this moment and this moment, and more, I think more specifically, the experience that I'm having right now as this human being, right? Whatever this sensation is, whatever this experience is in this moment, seems that's the closest thing. Because after that, past that, once I start using language, using my interpretation of whatever it is, then we're moving into this named aspect, right? The named is the mother of 10,000 things, and yet it seems to point to how these named things are really not the thing. Of course, we're just talking about some ideas here, but I notice it as someone who's been in places where the English language is not the norm, that very quickly I can notice how language shapes perception. Let's say the conditional experience of wanting words to explain something tends to change whatever it is that's happening versus, let's say that I'm at a store and I'm wanting to purchase something or whatnot. And what I notice is that when I don't use language, I don't use English, I don't use a local language, but I use, let's say, my human expression, let's say body language. There's something that happens that I notice that when I kind of do a thing and the person does a thing where they acknowledge that they understand, there's a light in our eyes that flickers, right? That comes online where we both notice that, oh, we connected. We made understanding. And we did it past, or we did it without the languaging. Words get in the way, as they say. And it's interesting how, as humans, we are constantly, it seems, to be desiring. Right? I want this, I don't want that, this, that, and the other. And yet, what this seems to point to, ever desireless, one can see the mystery, ever desiring, one can see the manifestations, the things that we want, right? Things that we want to see. And it's interesting how perhaps what is mysterious is what's true. It comes down to the idea that if I don't know what's going on, if I can be truthful about that, I have some ideas. How certain I can really be about those things is, wobbly at best. If I'm in mystery, then chances are other people are mystery as well. Again, as we touched on before, the idea of darkness and how darkness is perhaps, for many good reasons, seen as adversarial almost. And yet, when we allow ourselves to be in darkness, darkness within darkness, we allow ourselves to perhaps recognize that others are in their own version of this darkness, and that we're all kind of doing this thing together, that we can allow the curiosity that comes from that, the humbleness that comes from bumping into other people along the way in our darkness, and allowing that mystery to be the gate, that all these things, the desire to really have things together, to have certainty, all this stuff, of course, is good. As humans, if we didn't have some sense of certainty, we'd probably go crazy. But also to hold that as strongly and as lightly as we would the other side of it, which is that we don't know. And that perhaps part of our resilient nature as humans and our evolution as people of maturity is to become more familiar, comfortable, and perhaps even inviting of this darkness, of this unknown. And from that, on the other side, is the beginning of heaven and earth. Um, yeah, so that's what we got going on here today. I'll share that I actually lost my notes for the second part, and so riffing a bit as so I'm stepping back in here onto the sharing and talking about stuff thing, keeping myself keeping the perfectionist at bay. And so, for what it's worth, hopefully it's worth something. This is as things are, not perfect, but present. We'll be reading a chapter, giving some of a reaction, and then giving a few days, and then providing a response. Because those are typically two different things that can be parsed out. So if you're into this, stay tuned, hit that subscribe, and I look forward to sharing and enjoying more tea with you soon.